Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you are all still doing well and staying away from, other people, washing your hands so that we can all get back together. I can see your smiling faces and we can all play music together again really soon. In the meantime, tonight I want to give you another version of a warm-up that you can practice that will actually help you to practice the Dragon Hunter piece. Last week, I think I sent you a video that is the sort of demo recording of the Dragon Hunter. And I hope that you guys listen to it, and I want to encourage you that you can also practice along with it if you want to hear the other parts while you play. It's a really fun way to practice an orchestra piece. Way more fun than just practicing your own part by itself. So yeah, go ahead and do that. If you need that sent to you again, feel free to let us know. We can definitely do that. Anyway, tonight what I'm gonna do is take you through a different scale, the scale of B minor, which is actually the key that Dragon Hunter is in. And we're gonna talk about 2 or 3 different bowings that we can use that come from Dragon Hunter that will help us to be able to play the articulations that are in Dragon Hunter much more easily, because we're gonna get extra practice on them by practicing them in this scale. So let's talk about the notes of the B minor scale really quickly. Last week we talked a lot about posture and left hand position and all those things. So I'm not going to focus on that too much tonight. I just want to review them really quickly. This is obviously for violins, because cellos I would never say to put your instrument up here. That's weird and awkward. Don't do that. For violins though, make sure that your instrument is very high up on your shoulder so that you just lay your head onto the chin rest and you can let go with your left hand, and you still get this beautiful flat surface to play on. Do not let your violin sit like this. The more you play, especially if you don't have your music up high enough, that's another thing I want to tell you guys. Cellos, this goes for you too. Do not put your music flat on your bed to practice. You will end up with the worst posture ever. If you don't have a music stand, use your case. Get your case up on a stack of books and put the music in the case so that you don't end up looking down your violin like this. It really encourages poor posture, and even if you practice setting yourself up correctly, you're gonna end up with really bad posture in the long run. So get your music up higher so that you're not forced to look down at it. Cellos, I suppose your cases probably would not work as well, so maybe get a stack of books or something that you can prop your music up on that's higher than looking straight down, because you want your back and your shoulders to be straight, okay? So violins, all the way up on your shoulder, make sure you have a good grip on your violin with your chin and use your shoulder pad. Make sure that your wrist is straight, no bent wrist. Don't let your thumb stick up high, bring it down. Curve your fingers over the top of the instrument, okay? Also, everybody, check your bow holds. You all need curved thumbs. If I can get my hand turned around. Curve your thumb. Cellos, pinky down. Violins, pinky up, right? Everything should be curvy, round, and soft. Can't get good bow strokes unless you have a good bow hold to start off with. Okay, so the key signature of B minor, F sharp and C sharp. There are no G sharps, which is going to sound strange at first, but trust me, it's the key signature. It's how it's supposed to sound. We're going to do half notes first just to practice the notes, okay? So we're going to start on B. We're only going to do 1 octave for tonight. Last week we did a 2-octave G major scale. You can definitely add the bottom octave violins or top octave for cellos. You can add another octave if you guys want to. I'm just going to talk about the first octave tonight because it's the most simple one to play, and I want everyone to be able to do it, okay? So just, if you want to play another octave, go for it. Use the same notes, okay? So Violins, we're gonna start on first finger on the A string. Cellos, you're gonna start on third finger on the G string. Like I said, just half notes at first. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, play. 1, 2, C sharp, D, G natural, go back. Good. So maybe do that a couple of times to get really familiar with the notes and the way that they sound. Work again on the same things we talked about last week, making sure your left hand violins is with a straight wrist and that your thumb isn't climbing up over the strings, okay? Cellos, you guys can definitely work on that first octave, just notes, getting really nice posture with your shoulder nice and low, nothing tucked in and high. Keep your arm low, right? Okay. The first new thing, other than the notes that we're going to talk about, is making sure that we have a couple of rhythms from Dragon Hunter kind of tucked into the scale, which will make it easier to actually play Dragon Hunter in the long run. So we're going to use the same notes that we just played. The first rhythm we're going to use is the rhythm from measure 4 for the violins. It's a quarter with 2 eighth notes following. So it'll be ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti. We could say down, wiggle, up, wiggle. We could also just use the beats. So we could say 1, 2, and 3, 4, and, which is the time signature for Dragon Hunter, 4/4. I'm going to use down, wiggle, up, wiggle just for now. Yeah, you guys can use whatever you like. So starting from the B, the first thing I want you to think about is the quarter note, okay? The quarter note is gonna be a zippy, long bow. We're gonna go from the frog to the tip quickly. The next 2 notes are eighth notes, and they're going to be smaller bows right where you left off with the quarter. So the first set of eighth notes will be at the tip. The second set of eighth notes will be at the frog. I'm gonna demonstrate for you so you can see what I'm talking about. The most important thing is that you get a nice, quick, long, zippy bow on the quarter note. So it's gonna go like this. So we got that zing from that down bow and the long up bow, right? Zip, wiggle, zip, wiggle. So I used my whole bow on the quarters and only a little bit of the bow on the eighths. You can speed that up if you feel like that's pretty easy for you and you're really staying in the sweet spot. Every note has to be in the sweet spot on the string. If you're staying in the sweet spot, you can definitely speed this up. We're gonna go a little faster with Dragon Hunter in the long run, so it'll be... etc. I'm not gonna go all the way through it again, but you can speed it up if you like. Make sure it's a steady speed up and that you're not just kind of playing some notes faster and some notes slower. Keep a steady tempo. The other rhythm that I would like to talk about tonight is actually a little bit more of a cello rhythm, but there are some violin parts that have this as well. And it is 2 quarter notes with 4 eighth notes attached. In the Dragon Hunter piece, I like to think of the quarter notes almost always as being sort of the dragon stomping, I guess we could think about that if we're trying to use imagery to help us figure out how to play this piece. So when you play the quarter notes, we need to have a definite amount of space between the bows. We do not want those 2 notes to mush together, or 4. Sometimes you have 4 quarter notes in a row, but we always want space between our quarter notes. So we never want them to sound like this. It's too mushy. We want them to sound like this. Quick, lightning, zippy bows, just like we talked about in the previous rhythm but in this case, more of them in a row. So the first 2 notes of this rhythm are quarter notes. Then we're gonna have 4 eighth notes in a row. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Just like we just talked about in the other rhythm, the eighth notes need much less bow than the quarters. So if we're gonna play this rhythm in the scale, again, same notes, we're gonna start on first finger on the A string for violins, third finger on the G string for cellos. This is how it will sound. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. And there you go. So you heard the space between those 2 quarter notes every time. Zip, zip, wiggle, wiggle, zip, zip, wiggle, wiggle. And cellos, you guys will see this rhythm on starting measure 5, and again measure 7, and you'll see it come back pretty much every other measure for a while. The notes are obviously not exactly the same as they would be in the scale, but the rhythm is the same. So it's still very useful to practice just using that rhythm to get you guys all used to that articulation that we want to be using. I am also going to take you quickly through slurs. I know this video is getting long, so just a quick wrap up. I don't know if everybody is quite ready to practice slurs, but this is another useful thing for this piece. So follow along, challenge yourself, see if you can do it. We're just gonna do quarter notes, and I'm gonna have you guys practice 2 notes in a slur. We're gonna make sure that we're using equal amounts of bow for each of the notes in the slur. Don't let yourself cut the second note off too soon. Otherwise it'll sound like this. We don't want that. I want to practice this way. And your goal should be to make those as smooth as possible, especially the transitions from down bow slur to up bow slur and back. Try to make sure that you're not allowing yourself to put a lot of space between the slurs. That again is a slightly more advanced bow technique. So for those of you who are used to slurs, go ahead and practice that. If you feel like a challenge, go ahead and practice that. And if you want an exceptional challenge, add the second octave to any of these rhythms. And again, this will help you to get warmed up and ready to go ahead and practice Dragon Hunter. If you have any specific questions about Dragon Hunter or any of the things that I've talked about in the scale so far, please let me know, and I would be happy to write a little something or address it in the next video that I make. I'd love to hear from you guys anyways. So I hope again that you're all doing well and that we can get back together again really soon. I really miss you, and I know Miss Kalita does too. So I guess that's it for now, guys. I will talk to you later. Don't forget to wash your hands. Okay, bye.